Okay, guys, welcome back to the YouTube channel. Okay, guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Sorry we've been out late for some time, and now we're going to start our classes on JavaScript. On this course, I'll be introducing you to JavaScript basics. It's going to be JavaScript with uh, JavaScript algorithms and data structure. So with this class, we're going to learn the introduction classes to JavaScript, intermediate JavaScript. Then we'll move forward to learning data structures and algorithms with JavaScript, right? So I'm going to explain what JavaScript is to you, take you beginner's level way of JavaScript, and also you understand. So while we brace ourselves up, let's just go on a quick commercial break, right? And we will be back. Okay, and we are back. So today's class is not going to be a long class. It's just going to be a 25-minute session. And today's class, I'll be introducing you to JavaScript, what the language is about, how powerful the language is, and probably we'll do some workings in JavaScript, a little touch and a little bit, a little trials and all in JavaScript, so you understand some things in JavaScript. Yeah. So in this course, I would use the opportunity to introduce you to programming, a bit, because people actually argue if JavaScript is a programming language or not. So I'll be explaining all these things to you on today's class, right? And we'll begin. While HTML and CSS control the content and styling of a page, JavaScript is used to make it interactive. So basically, JavaScript helps your HTML and CSS designed page to be interactive, to be able to interact with the DOM. I'll explain what DOM is. Don't worry, right? So then in this course, what basically we'll be doing is you learn the fundamentals of JavaScript, including variables, areas, objects, loops, and functions. Then once you have the fundamentals knowledge, then you'll be able to apply the knowledge you've learned by creating algorithms to manipulate strings, factorialize numbers, even calculate orbits and international space stations. Along the way, would go also learn a thing or two on object-oriented programming, which is very important, and also functional programming. Like I said, I'm going to translate into teaching you programming, because JavaScript is also a programming language. You can use it in writing. It's a programming language, right? You use it to writing programs. So, course, you don't really need much. Aside from the things I've told you about when we're starting this course, you need your IDEs, and you need good knowledge of, not good knowledge, I think, intermediate knowledge of HTML and CSS. Why is this? Because JavaScript works with your web page, right? So it works with HTML. So you HTML majorly because but CSS is used to modify HTML. So you need to be able to write some things on the DOM. When you write things on the DOM, then you can be able to um, interact with it using JavaScript, right? So that is basically what we're doing. So I'll go through the courses that we'll do under this under the this class, right? And the first one is we'll treat basic JavaScript, which is where you learn how the variables, you learn um, arrays, object loops, that's basic JavaScript. And I'm going to teach you ECMA scripting. So ECMA scripting is that's ES6, right? ECMA scripting that is or ES as I might call it, right? It's the standardized version of JavaScript. Because all major browsers follow this specification, the term ECMAScript and JavaScript are interchangeable, right? Most of the JavaScript you've learned up to this point, up to when you learn to like recursion, it's definitely going to be ES5, right? Then when you advance, I start learning some things like how to use arrow functions, spread operations, and things like that. Then you're doing ECMA scripting. So ECMA scripting is like a standardized way. ECMA scripting is a general term for like JavaScripting, you understand? But when there's like ES6, so EX6 is like an updated version of ECMA scripting where you start being able to represent a function in a different way. Your if and else statement represents in a different way. Scopes of using var and let, so all those things you're going to learn all that. It's really good and important for you as a developer because then you work in a company and when they're writing, you see a code base and the way they write their code, and you shouldn't be going and changing the code structure because you're like outdated. So I'll teach you the modern ways of how you can code with ES6, right? So ES6 coding, then from there we'll go to regular expression. So regular expression is often called regex, right? Or regex P, as my case may be. So they're like patterns that help programmers match, search, and replace text. Regular expressions are like, they're very powerful, but they're really difficult to read because they use special characters and make more complex and flexible matches. All right, and in this course, you would learn how to be able to use them. Basically, then I'll teach you how to debug with JavaScript, how to use your console.logs, how to use the inspect feature on Chrome, that is your browser console. Then when we work with so the debugging is going to be in two parts. I'll teach you the first one, which is how to use the consoles and console.log, right? So debugging with your console. Then I'll teach you how to debug with the inspect, right? Checking the source and networks. How to try and catch misspelling, catch mixed usage of single or double quotes, things like that. So we're going to all learn all that. And before we move into basic data structures, we're going to teach you what data structure is about, what data is about, and how data can be stored, and the importance of data, and minimizing your code and all. Then we'll go into basic algorithm scripting. So I wouldn't go really deep into data structure and algorithm. I'll just touch the surface, right? But it is your job to go deeper into it because if you're going to work in most of the big FANG, that's the 5 top companies in Silicon Valley, I think you need to have good knowledge of data structure and algorithm. So by the end of this course, you would have the basic knowledge, but you have to go and learn more about it and practice. I'll also give you some good sites that you go there and you can practice and become better in data structure and algorithm. Then from there, we go into object-oriented programming. So OOP, concept of programming, right, which is the recent way you write your codes, right? So using objects and replacing it replaces functional programming, yeah. So OOP or object-oriented programming is like the major approach to software development right now. In OOP, objects and classes organize your code to describe things and what they can do. It's more like if you have a human being as a class, then you have like the human being dot his hand, which is an object. The human being dot his eye, which is an object. Things like that. So it's being able to organize your code in objects and class, right? So I'll teach you the basics of OOP, and you can use it to write codes, and you write scalable codes, right? With that, then we go into functional programming, so um, yeah, of how to organize your codes in smaller and basic functions, right? So that can be combined with complex programs also. So it's being able to make a big work and reduce it to smaller functions so that you can be able to use to compile a complex program, right? Then we go into intermediate algorithm scripting. Then I'll teach you generally. We work on projects on algorithms and data structure. And when we are done with that, that will be the end of our JavaScript course. Then we'll be going into JavaScript library. I'm going to JavaScript libraries. That will be the final thing we'll do. JavaScript libraries. Where I'll tell you about some libraries and all before we go into TypeScript. So if you have been with me this far, I hope you stay so we can finish this course. Like I said, it's going to be a trying course, but it will be good if you follow through and everything we do. So now we're going to the introduction on the starting class, right? Where I would explain what JavaScript is. I think I've explained what JavaScript is. I'll just teach you some basic syntax in JavaScript, right? And how you interact with your HTML. I think that's what I'll do today. I'll teach you some basic syntax in JavaScript and how you interact with your HTML. So I'll teach you how to comment, how to declare variables, how to store values with assignment operator, assign the values to assign the value of one variable to another, right? Initializing variables with assignment operators, then declare string variables, understanding uninitialized variables, right? So we'll take everything one by one. So now, after that, I'll also then teach you how to connect to JavaScript with your DOM and things like that. But for now, we're just going to do core JavaScript without HTML first, right? Then after that, we'll then teach you how to connect with HTML, right? And so brace up, and as we get set to start. Okay, and we're back. I'm going to take you to the teaching scene now. Yeah, so this is my screen. So I already have a thing where I kind of explain some things in JavaScript so you understand how it works. So we'll start with JavaScript commenting, right? As you can see, this is what commenting does for you is this, right? So there are important reasons why you need to comment your codes. When you start writing too many codes and the codes are becoming too bulky and you lose count of what you're doing, right? It becomes difficult for you to flow, right? It is important that you comment your codes because let me create a scenario for you, right? Let's assume you get into Google today and you're seeing millions and thousands lines of codes, right? How do you think Google keeps sacking people, right? Or workers keep changing as the time goes, but still they are able to maintain their code base without issues. How do you think that happens, right? So basically, how this happens is because not only do people write scalable codes, there are always comments on the code. Commenting your code helps the next developer know what is happening in a particular part of the code, right? So it is important that you know how to comment your code, when best to comment a code, and avoiding comments that are not, like avoiding irrelevant comments, right? That's the word I was looking for. Irrelevant comments. So there are two types of comment. There's single line comments, right? And there's multiple line comments. So if you see this, this is a multiple line comment, a comment that can go in different lines, right? Then this is a single line comment, right? So I'll give you an example. So, oh, I don't need to give an example. I already have an example here. So if you look at this, right, the highlighted comment section that I have here, this is how you comment for multiple lines. So you use a multiple line comment if you want to talk about something big, like define a particular function, right, or define something that is happening. That's what a particular code base is about, right? Then use a multiple line comment, right, like we have here. But if you want to just talk about maybe what this should output, right, like what you want to say, okay, this function is supposed to return this statement, or what this should output, then you use a single line comment, right? In some cases you also use a single line comment to be able to reference a to do, like what you want to do, right? So you can use a single line comment also to reference a to do, right? So you just do something like this and you're like, to do, and then you can type what you want to do, right? So this is just to also help you set a reminder of what you want to do. So in case you come back, okay, you haven't done something here or something like that, So, but one thing you should know is that when you comment your codes, they are not going to be seen on, or so basically if the code runs, right, it's going to omit it. That's what's going to happen, right? So when your code runs, basically JavaScript omits the code, right? So I'm sorry, basically your program omits your code. So before I begin, I think I'm going to do this. I'll need to create an HTML file, right? So that I can be able to test whatever thing I'm writing here, so you guys can see it, right? And so yeah, I think that's what I'll do. So open live server. If you're using VS Code, right? So I'm sorry, I was writing the program before, so I'll just do this and I'll do this. This is commenting in HTML, right? So you see I commented this. So now that I've commented this, now all this will not work, right? Only this would be relevant. So now it's good I did this, so I will just teach you how to reference your scripts in JavaScript in HTML. So I told you HTML works hand in hand in JavaScript, right? Because HTML is a building block of a web page, but for JavaScript to interact with your web page, it needs the HTML, right? I can write a JavaScript code like this, but I can't make it work on my web page unless I have linked it to HTML. Just the same way you link your CSS to HTML, So for JavaScript, you can put it anywhere in the body tag, right? So I can call this. So there are two ways of calling JavaScript. Either you call it as an external file, right, which you see this here, scripts, external file name, right, where it's located, then the closing tag scripts, and then you call it anywhere you want to call it on the HTML. Either you call it here or you call it here, right? Anyway, either you do this method or you do it internally. So internally now I do it like this, then I can write my JavaScript codes here, right? This is another way of writing JavaScript, right? Either you do it, so I can write it like this, and I can just say, Command Z, Ctrl C, and I'll do this. So now once I load this page, it should just do a console.log. Hello, my name is Melody. Should we try it? So let's see. I'm going to save now, and I'll go back here, and so this is before we start, right? If you're using VS Code, go to extensions, go to extensions here, right, and search for live server. You see this? So search for live server. So the one by Reach Weekday, right? Download it. So what live server help you do is you can with live server you can just do this and you can open your HTML file live server, and then when you make changes and you save it automatically, when you come back here it saves. So this is just introductory. When you start writing React and Angular automatically and you're routing npm, right, node package manager, all these things will be doing automatically to working through a server. But for now you just use this, so we don't have to be doing save and launch again, you understand? So so I've made changes now, and to be able to test what you're doing, JavaScript works with your DOM. So because it works with your DOM, your browser is able to access it, right? I'll explain what DOM is to you later. So because the browser is able to access it, then I can easily just do I think it's Control I for people who are using Windows. But just do right click and click on expect. So sorry, we'll just do it like this. So this is what I'll do. So I click on inspect. So when you click on inspect, right, what happens here is you see here. Now once I go to console, right, then I see this. I would just clear this and I'll load the page again. So you see this. Hello, my name is Melody. So that's what was printed from. So this you see was printed from here, right? This you see was printed from here. So now to show you that you can do it both ways, right? This is internal styling, and so internal scripting of your JavaScript. So if you want it in that way, you can just reference the index.js somewhere, which is what we have here, right? And I'll change it from hello, my name is Mildred. And I'll click S, and then I would save this, and you see this. So I come back here. So you see this. My name, hello, my name is Mildred. Okay, so I hope this gives you a good understanding of how JavaScript works, how you connect to HTML. Then now I'll just throw more light on commenting, and I'll tell you the projects will be building by the end of the class, by the mid-end of the class, not by the totally end of the class, by the middle of the class, because there's a lot we have to learn. We have to learn promises and other things, while we're learning JavaScript. So so for now, this is it. So now you've understood how JavaScript works with HTML, right? Then how you be displaying your results when you've coded, or probably we can also be presenting our results in our HTML, right? But I'll teach you all that late as we're going forward in the course, in case we are start doing some input and output and working with the DOM and things like that. So for now, I'll just go back to teaching you how comments work. So like I said, if you want to comment for multi-line comments, you do your forward slash, then the star, right? Then the asterisk, then you have this, right? Then asterisk again and forward slash, right? Then for single line comments, it's forward slash this. Then for multiple line, same thing. Then this is a very easy hack for people, right? If you want to just comment this and you don't have time to start writing this, for Mac users, you can do command forward slash, and it will give it a single line comment, right? And so basically, and for people who use Windows, I don't know the exact way you can do it, but for those who are using what they call it, MacBook, you can do Windows like forward slash. Then also, I'll quickly teach you this again. So let me quickly comment this. And now also JavaScript is able to work with your browser, right? Any kind of browser to be able to manipulate and bring results. So remember, JavaScript is a DOM language. So you can also log things to the browser, right? And you can use another way of doing this to be able to use alerts, right? So most of you must have seen this kind of thing on websites. So I'll just save this and show you how alerts is like. So you see this melody is here. So automatically I just load the page, and when you load the page, it brings an alert that says melody is here, right? And how this is working is from here. So by the end of this course, all right, you should be able to build, by towards the mid level of this course, right, after I've gone to a good distance, you should be able to build two kind of websites, which I'll show you now. All right, and these are the sites we'll be able to build. I hope it's not that far, because that's another problem. Okay, so scripts, game. So we should be able to build an emoji game like this. All right, so this emoji game, what it does is it's so this is an emoji game, and what the emoji game does is when you click on this, right, it generates there's something wrong because the API, I disconnected the API right now, but it generates three emojis that can mean a movie, right? And once you have to guess the movie, and if you guess the movie right, like let's say Melody is the name of the movie, you submit, it should tell you, hey, you're correct, right? But if you guess the movie wrong, it tells you, hey, you're wrong, right? You are not correct. So that's what we're going to build. I'll tell you the process of how it works. So basically how it works, it hits the MovieDB API, it generates a random movie, popular movie name, right? Then it hits Open API to use the random movie name to generate emojis. Then does a comparison that if the emoji and the user input is the same, then it should tell you the user that he was correct. Then another thing we're going to build is an AI bot, a simple AI bot like ChatGPT, right? Called so we're going to build a simple AI bot called Meldroid, right? So basically, sorry, I built this, and this didn't take me up to a day to build. Okay, let's say 2 days because I was busy. But we're going to build a simple AI bot like this. We might not be doing all these pages. I might just tell you some things you need to know, because you've learned HTML and CSS, so you should be able to represent a page like this on your own. But this is just an AI bot that does some things like this. But I'm just going to show you what it does. So basically, I can say explain the term recursion in programming, right, and click I'm done. So recursion is a programming technique that allows you to call itself blah blah blah, and also you can say with examples, right? And let's see the results it gives you. So you see, so this is an AI bot that you can ask programming questions and it gives you the reply. So this was built with pure JavaScript, pure vanilla JavaScript, right? So by the end of this course, you should be able to build this kind of AI tool that helps you answer all your programming questions. All right, I don't want to spoil you, but yeah, so that's basically the end of today's class. I hope I see you on our next class. If you have been missing our videos, please do well to watch them, and see you next time. Arrivederci on our next class.